was a great source of pleasure for me, and it became a place that I would relent to when I was tired or I needed comfort or I felt stressed. And when you are bullied in school and you finally get home, you might look for a place of respite. Welcome to the Beyond the Scale podcast. I am your host, Darrylynn. I am a master nutrition coach and an expert in the psychology of eating. I'm here to explore the fundamentals of nutrition, behavior change, and help you discover your best self by overcoming the appeal of your excuses, challenging the stories you tell yourself about food, and learning what will fuel the life of your dreams. So my life has been a series of transformation. I've been a perfect student and a doting daughter. I've been a determined mother, and I've even been a broke wife. In school, I was humiliated a lot because I was really overweight my whole life. I used to be called Daryl Slim. It really makes my eyes well up even now. My journey has been one of resilience and fear and setbacks and figuring things out. And even today, I am figuring out how to be a host of a podcast, so I'm really grateful that you're here. I'm interested in learning a lot about you and telling you a little bit about me because I bet we have a lot in common. As I grew up, I lived in a home that really valued my mind and my thoughts. We learned a lot about thinking and history and politics, and we were really interested in all the things that were happening around the world, but we failed to move. Like, I had zero recollection of ever moving in my whole life, except for camping trips, which I did really enjoy, but I also really hated getting dirty. My mom, my dad, and my sister, we were all really overweight. And my mom didn't grow up in a great home, and so she didn't know how to fuel us properly. Moving and eating well, it just eluded us. Sometimes I would see families at the local elementary school, and they would be playing volleyball or tossing baseball, and it was so weird to me. It was just like a foreign culture. My mom was a working mom. My dad was a working dad, and they provided for us really well. But we ended up eating a lot of takeout. We didn't have a lot of sweets. I don't remember gorging on cookies and chips, but we did eat a lot of fried chicken and takeout Chinese. Sometimes we'd go to Bob's Big Boy. If you're a child of the 80s, you know what I'm talking about. So food was a great source of pleasure for me. And it became a place that I would relent to when I was tired or I needed comfort or I felt stressed. And when you are bullied in school and you finally get home, you might look for a place of respite. So when I was in junior high, I noticed that my weight was becoming an issue even for my parents. And my mom had given my dad a gift certificate. There were no gift cards at the time, but a gift certificate to Jenny Craig. And my dad wanted me to have it instead. And he was doing that from a place of love. I was always very loved. But a seventh grader had no business going to Jenny Craig. So Jenny Craig was a place where you would go and they would give you like prepackaged meals, and they were pretty terrible, but they were really individually portioned. And you would go there, you would pick up your food, you would weigh in and decide if you were the winner that week or if you had blown it. And then basically we would go to McDonald's afterwards because we weren't going to have to weigh in for another whole week. And that was the way I grew up. That is what I thought about food, that it was a big struggle, that it was this wonderful place that I could escape to that gave me a lot of comfort, but it was also my kryptonite. It was also the thing that kept me fat. It was also the thing that I felt kept me bullied. So in the 80s and 90s, they didn't have husky clothes for kids or curvy kids, or clothes for people that were plus size weren't even available at regular stores. And so I was forced to shop at one store, and if you can believe it, the name of the store was Sizes Unlimited. I actually had to think about that the other day. I was like, what was the name of that store? The name of the store was Sizes Unlimited. Can you actually believe that they had a store named Sizes Unlimited? Anyway, it was not a kid's store. It was definitely not stylish, but it had clothes that fit me. And my parents were able to afford to buy those clothes, which I'm sure were quite expensive. So all of my shopping was done at an adult women's store called Sizes Unlimited, and that is humiliating. In junior high, my first experience with like fitness and a coach was a junior high PE coach. And in that place in time, they didn't even have PE clothes that fit me correctly. And I remember like pulling at the shorts and hoping that they would just make me disappear, like that they would just cover enough that I wouldn't be noticed, because that was going to just be humiliating. And I don't know if the coaches were trying to teach me a lesson for being overweight, but they were really mean to me, and they really were not kind. And so that was my first experience with fitness and coaches, and it was not a good one. And mostly those experiences at school where I was bullied by the boys, being called Daryl Slim, and I was being bullied by the coaches, left me in a place that I would go home and I would just retreat with, Kraft mac and cheese and whatever else I could find in the house. In the afternoons, though, I would watch like Ricky Lake and Oprah Winfrey, and I would even get to see like Susan Powter and Richard Simmons. And if you're young, you might not know who Richard Simmons is. He doesn't have a single coach certification, but he is lively and kind, and he encouraged me. And I feel like somehow in the universe, that's how I've ended up here. Like, he was an example when I was just trying to learn what I should be eating. And here I am now asking you to take good care of yourself. In the mid-90s, I became married, and we desperately wanted to have children, but I was well over 300 pounds. And my doctor was kind enough to tell me the truth, that I would need to lose weight in order to become pregnant. And he said if I didn't become pregnant within 6 months to a year, that he would then intervene and help me get pregnant with some medical interventions. So with my doctor's help, I lost that first bit of weight, and I did become pregnant and had a beautiful baby boy, Harrison, and then subsequently had 3 more children. So I had 4 beautiful, healthy children, and I considered it my job to save them from all of the food trauma I had. So from my pregnancy on, I worked really hard to eat well, move well, and then pass that along to my children. It is my greatest legacy, next to investing in all of the women and men of Fit Body. So having my children grow up healthy and having myself continue to learn about food, and learn about, because I was so invested in making sure that my children had this legacy of health, I don't really understand it when my clients tell me that they can't take care of themselves because they're so busy taking care of their children, because your children's well-being depends on your well-being. And I took that really personally. So this generational curse of obesity and being unhealthy has ended with me, and I really couldn't be more proud. And if you're a mom, you probably understand that. So we really moved, and we cooked our own food, and we ate our veggies first. My son says that's the theme of our house. Eat your veggies first. And I love that. We've raised our children to know how to care for their minds and their bodies, and it is something I'm super proud of. And now that they're grown, I am here for you. Truthfully, I am navigating uncharted waters. I have never done a podcast before, and I'm really uncertain if my words will resonate with any of you or inspire you. But I'm here, and I really want to dismantle some myths about food and fitness and mindset. I really want to help you get some progress. I want to celebrate some victories. I want to acknowledge your struggles, and I want to offer you a healthier future. As a mother and a wife and a friend, I want to be a relentless advocate for health. I'm here to guide you towards real and lasting transformation. So I hope that you will join me for some conversations that are candid. Let's rewrite our stories together. Thanks for joining me in this episode of Beyond the Scale. Please subscribe, leave us a review, and don't forget to share this episode with someone who might need a little encouragement and wants to come along a health journey with us. Take care and stay healthy.